Hello everyone and welcome back to Willow's Notes. Today we have two questions, both about membrane transport, but the first question is a DP style question, whereas the second one is an AP style question. Whether you're DP or AP or just in any biology class and you're studying about membrane transport, try to pause the video and answer both questions and then hit play so we go over the answer together. Let's start with the first question. The diagram shows three different modes of transport. Which option identifies them correctly? So if we zoom in a little bit on the diagram, as we can see, we have three modes of transport. The first thing we should look at is the concentration. Are the molecules moving from high concentration to low concentration, or are they moving from low concentration to high concentration? Why do we need to know that? Because in passive transport, the molecules move from high to low. And that's the case with the first two. We can see here molecules going from high concentration to low concentration, as well as in the second case. So if molecules are moving from high to low, that's a passive transport. So therefore, both 1 and 2 are cases of diffusion. But now we need to identify whether it's a case of simple diffusion or facilitated diffusion. As we can see here, the arrow, there's an arrow that is just crossing the membrane. There's no channel. Whereas in number 2, there's a transport channel transporting these molecules. So therefore, the first one is a case of simple diffusion, whereas here in number 2, it's a case of facilitated diffusion, where molecules are helped. It's facilitated through the help of the channel. Why? Because usually these molecules are larger, so they need a transport. But they're still going from high concentration to low concentration. In 3, we can clearly see that that's not the case. The molecules are going against their concentration gradient. It's going from low to high concentration. So this is a typical case of an active transport. Both B and C say simple diffusion for the first one, which is correct. And then for 2, facilitated diffusion, active transport. So yes, choice B is the correct answer. Let's go to the second question. Here the molecules are labeled, so we know that that's CO2, glucose, and hydrogen ions, and it also says high, low, low, high. Which statement best explains the effect of having no ATP on the processes shown in the diagram? No ATP means we're specifically talking about active transport. At this point, you look at your first choice. It's CO2. CO2 is crossing through simple diffusion. Simple diffusion does not require ATP. So whatever choice we're going to choose should not have anything to do with CO2. Even if you don't know what is the mode of transport for glucose, just look at the diagram. It shows that it's moving from high concentration to low concentration. That's a typical case of passive transport. A passive transport, it is facilitated diffusion, it's using a channel, but it's going from high to low. So no ATP is required anyways. So the choice we're going to choose should not have anything to do with glucose. So we're left with hydrogen ions. The hydrogen ions are going against the concentration gradient. This is a typical case of active transport. So if there's no more ATP, then the pump will not have the energy to pump the hydrogen ions against the concentration gradient. So let's look at the choices. Glucose will not be transported. No. The diffusion of CO2 into the cell will stop. We said no. The choices C and D both deal with hydrogen ions, but let's see which one is the answer. In C, we have hydrogen ions will cross the membrane via simple diffusion. So it's like tricking you into thinking, if there's no ATP, then maybe they can just cross through simple diffusion. No, because if the diagram is telling you that hydrogen ions need a pump to cross, they can never use, simple diffusion. And that leaves us with choice D. Hydrogen ions will not be able to be transported across the membrane, and that's the correct answer. The hydrogen ions cannot and will not be transported if there's no ATP, because, again, let's repeat it one last time, it's active transport. It requires the hydrolysis of ATP. And these are the two exam style questions. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it easy, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!